Hello and welcome to another episode of Graham and Ann's Great Adventures.
If you enjoy our travels.
Glad you can join us. We're heading off on an extended road trip around Australia. Previously in 2016 we circumnavigated Oz. We had a different rig back then, dual cab ute, blacktop caravan, and we took a tent for the off-road parts of our adventure. We also had a few dramas along the way, so we're planning to visit all the places that we missed on the last trip. And starting off, we're heading out to the Red Centre. We've never been there before, so we're really excited about that. We're going to be away for 12 months. We've got house sitters looking after our home on the Gold Coast, and we've got a really good rig now. We've taken our time and we're really happy with our setup. In this episode, we're going to talk about how we travel with our dog Shadow. And also we'd like to show you a few more great campsites along the way. Anything we find, we call them a hidden gem. And a few more tips about caravanning. So hope there's some information there that can help you in your travels. So we hope you enjoy our first episode of many to come. And if you want to follow our travels on this trip, just hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. And then you can follow our journey as we explore Australia. This is the new service department for Zone, separated from the manufacturing division down the road. We visited there before we left just to have a few alterations and small repairs done, so we're set for our trip. We like staying at Showgrounds. We feel like we're supporting the local community. Great facilities usually, and most often it's close to town. While we're staying at Maloney Showgrounds, the RACQ care flight arrived, landed just in front of where our caravan was, and they were picking up a patient to transfer to Brisbane. Heading northwest, one of our first stops was the Kingroy Showground. We spent a couple of days there. Great little location. Kingroy is known as the peanut capital of Australia. The processing plant is located right in town, the dominant feature being the silos. Kingroy was also the hometown of Queensland Premier Sir Joe Peterson. We found this authentic Italian cafe while strolling through town. Great little spot to stop for morning tea. Here is the first of what we call hidden gems. Hidden Gold, it's a homestead north of Kingroy, just outside Mergen. We were greeted by a few longhorn cattle as we drove in.
Right.
Clinton, the owner, is very passionate about healthy living, sustainable farming, and he wants to share his passion with you. Great guy to talk to. The cost for camping here is $10 per person per night, which is really good. You can choose your own campsite. There's fire pits, beautiful grassy sites right on Lake Baramba. Have to be fully self-sufficient. Clinton, the owner, invites you to share his piece of paradise, and it really is, especially with the dam full at the moment, 100%. Nice grassy sites and very pleasant outlook. And right next door to Hidden Gold is Dusty Hill Winery. It was one of the first wineries in the South Burnett region. Very picturesque location on Lake Baramba, and a village atmosphere as you drive in. All the grapes used for their winemaking are grown in their own vineyard, and they're made on site by a resident winemaker. The cellar door was open from Thursday to Sunday, and we were quite impressed with some of the wines we sampled. Also on site there's an Irish tavern and a great restaurant. We can definitely recommend the restaurant. Atmosphere and the food was excellent. Within walking distance of the wine tasting there was a range of B&B accommodation, some beautiful little restored buildings. This one was called the Sewing Cottage. This is the Stone House. This is the South Burnett Wedding Chapel. You can also stay here for the night. Air-conditioned accommodation with queen bed with ensuite.
I saw the eyes of the maker, heard a rushing sound, caught up in the wheel going round and round, spun like gold from the shining ground. I got my feet on a cloud and I won't come down.
There's a nice swimming pool here for a dip in summer. With more development on the South Arm, this has got a lot to offer, so we'll definitely be returning here. And after a relaxing afternoon at Dusty Hill, it was only a 5-minute trip back to our campsite. We always make a point of staying at these campsites midweek, so we've got plenty of space. I imagine on the weekend this would be fairly popular. Now I did mention to the co-pilot not to feed the geese, so guess what happened? And we had our resident geese with us for the whole 5 days of our stay. Friends of ours had the original recipe from Flo Bioki Peterson for her pumpkin scones, and done on the camp oven, they're an absolute treat. Well, let's see how the scones are going. Oh, beautiful. This is Flo's original recipe, and done on the camp oven, they're superb. Don't these look superb? What do you think, Shadow? Another beautiful sunset around the campfire, can't beat it. And after 5 very relaxing days, it was time to head off on our journey.
When I was a boy, rolled up like a cigarette.
So we travelled with our dog Shadow, who's a King Charles Cavalier. So for instance, while we're out at the farm and we wanted to go out for lunch, we take him for a big walk, and then he's quite happy to sleep in the caravan for 2 or 3 hours. If it's in summer, we can actually run the air conditioner now off the inverter, which is very good, so we put it on 24 degrees so he's comfortable. He doesn't get stressed out, and he's always happy to see us back again. Now what we've also done in the past when we want to go into national parks and areas where you can't take a dog, we've usually found other people with a dog. Doesn't take much to start up a conversation if you've got a dog, and then once you get to know these people, we do dog sitting and we swap it around. We can look after their dog and they can look after ours, and as long as you pick people that you can trust, that works really well. On a commercial basis, if you want to pay someone, there is Mad Paws Pet Sitting. They've got over 1,000 trusted verified pet sitters over Australia, and you can look them up. We haven't used them yet, but we do intend to use them if we get stuck. Most places we camp, we always try and find a place that is pet friendly, and these days there's a lot more of them around. It's quite easy. A lot of it depends on your dog, whether it can be left or not. Some dogs really stress with their owner's gone. Ours does to a certain extent, but he always knows we're going to come back to the caravan, so he's quite happy. So in full sun, we're drawing something like 20 to 22 amp hours per battery bank, so that's just over 40 amp hours, and that's while it's cycling down on its cool cycle. Once it gets to temperature, that will drop substantially. So during the middle of the day, it's quite easy to run this for 3 or 4 hours without completely depleting your batteries. You can hear the inverter, it's actually working, it's actually generating heat, and as we've said before, that's why we don't use this as a storage box, because it needs plenty of air around it to dissipate that heat. Always remember to turn that inverter off when you finish using it. Now, one of the reasons that you always turn that inverter off, if you were in a powered site, you went out for the day, you decided to leave the air conditioner on, and if that site lost its power, this inverter will automatically turn on and continue running the air conditioner. And if you were out all day, you could quite easily drain your batteries. The inverter also consumes power while it's turned on, even if you're not using it. So you're best, if you're not using it, just hit that switch in the cupboard. If you find that you lose power in the caravan, there's a number of switches you need to check. So first of all, it's the incoming supply from where you're plugged into. Next, have a look at the circuit breaker on the end of the inverter. So all your AC, normal 240 volt, goes through this switch. If it gets overloaded, that will flick off. So if that's down, that means you'll have no power to any power points in your caravan. So check that and make sure it's on. And again, if you've lost power, the other place to check is your incoming supply. So there's a circuit breaker in here next to where you put your power cord into, and see if that's on or off. So they always have to be in the up position. Thanks for watching episode 1 of our extended adventure across Australia. Hope to see you out there one day. We'll be back soon.